Hello and welcome. Today I will be ranking every lolcat in the game. Now before we start, I want to give a general idea of my methodology for ranking each lolcat. 1. How does a unit perform as a generalist and or how well can the unit be used in its niche? 2. How does it fare against the competition? 3. What cat combos does it have? And 4. Is the unit practical to use? Also, these are all being ranked based on their viability at their full potential. This means they are at level 90 and, if applicable, have maxed out talents. If you enjoyed this video, why not give it a like? Maybe leave your thoughts in the comments down below when you're done watching this, and if you want to join this wonderful community, make sure to hit that subscribe button. With that out of the way, let's get to the ranking. What was once a relatively cheap anti-wave unit and shielder, especially in 4-star stages, now has literally no use since the existence of cheaper anti-wave shielders like Dread Pirate Catly and Glittering Macho Cat exist, the former of which can be used in 4-star stages. Lil Lion, while having similar stats compared to his regular counterpart, only has 2/3 the speed of regular Lion, who is also outclassed by their Manic counterpart. His combos aren't that good either, since getting a small speed boost with Goemon Cat is just a waste of a lineup, especially since you can get much better speed up combos, one of which has regular Lion and Rodeo Cat. Lil Lion is also one of the 4 lolcats who doesn't have talents yet, meaning there might be some room for improvement in the future, but as it stands, Lil Lion is the only lolcat on this list who honestly has nothing to offer and sits at the bottom of the list. Lil Dark is honestly the best Dark variant, but that isn't saying much. Lil Dark can actually get some utility thanks to their talents. Granted, it isn't a unit worth using for either of its niches because there are better options and this unit has terrible trait matchups. The only Angel and Aku enemies it can outrange include the Divine Cyclone, Gabriel, Aku Doge, Sinner Snake, Cerberus Kids, and Ms. Devil. All of these enemies besides the Divine Cyclone are peons. It could have had the potential to be a good Saint Dober counter thanks to its surge resistance if it weren't for the fact that Saint Dober has Omni Strike. Saint Dober's standing range is only 130, but since it has Omni Strike, its forward piercing range is 200. This means that Lil Dark can't get close enough to try freezing it without losing over half of their health. The only reason why it was able to be higher than Lil Lion in this list is that they have an objectively better combo set, specifically a combo with Cutter Cat, Brave Cutter. This combo is very good since gaining an attack boost for 2 slots makes your units a lot more powerful. Neo Cutter Cat also benefits heavily from this combo since attack combos are based on a unit's base stats before their abilities. Having a 10% increase in a unit's damage can actually be a game changer in some instances. So in short, Lil Dark is saved from the bottom of the list by having an actually decent combo. Another victim of power creep, making it barely valuable and having talents that don't really work for themselves, Low Flying is down here in the number 7 slot. If you don't have many options for zombie attackers, you can use them as a decently cheap zombie attacker, but the moment you unlock Cadaver Bear Cat, you don't need to use them at all since Cadaver does Low Flying's job better, and for the zombies flying can outrange that the bear can't, Bear can usually just swipe them back, especially if they just came out of the ground. For its anti-relic talents, the only relic enemy that's worth using Lil Flying on is Hani Wanwan due to having a chance to curse them and being able to tank a good amount of damage from them. The other relic enemies that can outrange include Old Horn, Sorrel, and Relic Doge. For these other 3 enemies, you could just use other attackers like Cameraman and Can to fight them. Lil Flying also has a decent freeze combo with Lumberjack Cat to increase freeze time, but it doesn't have too much else to offer. Low Flying is only good against zombies until you get Cadaver Bear Cat and doesn't even work that well against relic enemies since most of them can just shred through them or be handled with other units much more easily. Lil Jamira would have been a little bit lower on this list if it weren't for one thing: his ability to be a decently tanky non-Uber Aku shield piercer. Lil Jamira at level 90 with max health talents has 75,000 health, which means that he can take a few hits from any Aku enemy. His surge resistance is meant to help dampen the effects of the death surge from Fallen Bear specifically, but it can also be helpful if there are condemned Pangs and Sinner Snakes on the field. The only Aku shield enemies where you won't get much use out of Low Chimera is the Aku Cyclone because the Cyclone has a higher range, and Midnight D because of his constant shield regeneration and high damage preventing Low Chimera from getting close to him. Miss Devil is the only Aku enemy who has the Weaken ability, but she isn't too tough to handle, so Weaken Immune isn't that needed of a talent. Also, Low Chimera can struggle with Fallen Bear if they are decently buffed since Low Chimera doesn't have enough speed to get into his range. His main issue as an Aku Shield Piercer is his price, since having to drop about 2,000 cents for a chance to pierce a shield is definitely a risky investment when in battle. His combos are serviceable at best, as a knockback combo doesn't benefit Pile Driver as she already has a guaranteed knockback chance and Low Chimera only gains a 2% increase to his knockback ability. A defense up combo with Cyborg is nice, giving Low Chimera some more survivability, but there are much better defense combos, and spoilers, one of them even makes a special appearance on this list down the road. The only reason why Low Chimera is above Low Flying is because Low Chimera has a niche that hasn't really been contested with, being one of the 6 non-Uber Shield Piercers and it being the tankiest one of them all. Low Mohawk is a simple unit and would be slightly lower on this list if it weren't for one thing, but we'll get there when we get there. Low Mohawk is a meat shield with a very cheap cost for a slightly longer recharge. Having a cost of only 45 cents, it is the cheapest unit in the game, but the recharge is 2.8 seconds long instead of the usual 2-second recharge of a meat shield. That slight difference in time does make a huge impact when it comes to meat shielding. However, this can be fixed and only takes one other unit, Catasaurus. Together they form a research small combo which reduces the recharge rate of a unit by 0.87 seconds. This gives Low Mohawk just enough recharge reduction to be able to have a recharge of 2 seconds, the minimum that a unit can have, and is very important for meat shielding. Low Mohawk, thanks to this combo, can also have a nice niche of being a valuable meat shield on stages that feature metal enemies due to the 30-cent cost reduction compared to the other Mohawk friends. It might not sound like much, but over the course of a battle, it does add up. This singular combo pushes Low Mohawk up a spot on the list. Lull Island is definitely not the best anti-red attacker, but it's still pretty decent, especially in 4-star stages. Lull Island has 10 less range than the other 2 islands, which while the range differences don't mean Lull Island can't outrange any other red enemy that the other 2 can, it does make the matchup against Boar a bit more dangerous. Lull Island can still pack a punch against red enemies, and when maxed out, can deal 4,000 more damage than Manic Island, which isn't too much higher, but unlike Manic Island, it can use talent orbs. A strong red S rank orb gives it a great 147,000 health and lets him deal a decent 36,000 damage against red enemies. Lull Island is also given the pizza treatment by being given a level 2 wave attack through talents. Since it is a wave attack, it still gives it a pseudo area attack, meaning that the wave attack is a great talent for Lull Island, although keep in mind that unlike Pizza, which has a 30% chance to wave, Lull Island only has a 20% chance to wave. His Aku target is actually kinda good against melee Aku enemies such as Aku Gori or Aku enemies with a slow attack rate like Wicked Face. It can even be good for enemies like Condemned Pang despite having more than double the range. The only Aku enemies it really struggles against are Fallen Bear and Midnight D due to their high attack rate and high base attack as well as their range. Lull Island's Aku niche is very valuable to have but struggles in the red department because it has to contend with so many other units including the other islands. For combos, one of them is pretty meh since 3 slots for a massive damage small combo and only 1 unit in the combo benefits from it isn't all that great. 2 other combos are pretty good, as his Resist Large combo gives a massive 30% increase in the resistance ability, allowing units to take up to 6.5 times the health with fruits and 5.2 without, making certain units very, very tanky. The slow combo he has with Belly Dancer only really works if Belly Dancer has slow talents unlocked if you had to use Belly Dancer as your main slower. The last combo is very good because it is a niche combo, being one of the 3 combos in the game to increase the critical hit chance. Granted, it is only a 1% increase, but being able to minimize RNG at all when it comes to crits can be a godsend, especially when paired with the other 2 critical hit boosting combos for a total of a 5% increase in the critical hit chance. Lull Island is great due to his great niche as an anti-Aku unit and being granted a critical hit combo. However, like the other islands, never use them as a critical hit attacker unless you were that desperate for more critical units because of his 5% crit chance, which is higher than both of the other islands. For our third place is the easiest Lolcat true form to acquire, Low Macho Legs. Low Macho Legs has one main but very important role, this being a relatively tanky range breaker unit thanks to their barrier breaker and shield piercing abilities. Having a 30% chance to do both makes Low Macho Legs a reliable breaker. In terms of barrier breaker, there isn't a singular enemy that is impossible to use Low Macho Legs to try breaking a barrier with, since every barrier enemy that outranges him either has a low attack rate, or a weak barrier, or in the case of Ribbo, having a blind spot. In terms of shield piercing, there are a decent amount of Aku enemies with the higher range, but most of them either have a weak shield, a low attack rate, and or a long force swing. The only exceptions to this are Fallen Bear and Midnight D. It would have been a good answer to Fallen Bear if it kept the original range of their fellow legs, but instead of having 350 range, they only have 300 range. This causes Fallen Bear to outrange them, and Low Macho Legs will have almost no opportunity to get in and break his shield. For the case of Midnight D, like with the low Jamira section, it is just less painful to try taking it out head on if you don't have any other range piercers besides Aku Researcher. For Low Macho Legs' case, they both have a range of 300, so Low Macho Legs doesn't work against them. The knockback against aliens isn't really that reliable, mainly because of the fact that a lot of alien enemies have a higher range than Low Macho Legs, and those who don't tend to be dealt with rather easily. The only exceptions to this are Nimoy Boar and Cyberhorn, thanks to their immense pushing power but low range, so being able to try knocking them back can be useful. However, you could just use something like Psycho Cat to slow them. Since its knockback ability isn't all that useful, getting the Curse Resist ability is not even worth the investment. Now, I forgot to mention this in the Lol Island section, but it's just as useless on that as well. Low King Dragon is a very interesting Lol unit because its base stats are the exact same as a regular King Dragon. This means that if your Low King Dragon is at a higher level than your regular King Dragon, Low King Dragon is objectively better since, unlike Low Macho Legs, Low King Dragon doesn't suffer from a range decrease. These simple facts alone make Low King Dragon one of the best Lolcats because of the fact that Low King Dragon is just as reliable in 4 stars and anywhere else where you would want to use a King Dragon. Low King Dragon is also a pretty decent combo unit. Dragon's Old and Young helps out with Ganglion's strong ability, and Dragon Driller helps boost the weaken effect of Driller Cat, but his best combo is Tiny Ancient Hunt, which like with Brave Cutter, gives you a boost in your unit's attack power by 10%. Unlike Brave Cutter, however, both units in this combo are useful since you get to use Jianchi as an extra meat shield if you have a good amount of cash, and Low King Dragon since he's a great ranged attacker. Also, the attack boost with the level 90 King Dragon makes it basically equal to a regular King Dragon that's at level 106. Due to the stat similarities, whatever negative Low King Dragon has, so does regular King Dragon, like a decently long recharge. Since Low King Dragon doesn't have any special abilities and is just a simple ranged attacker, there isn't much else to discuss with him. The fact that he doesn't suffer from a stat reduction, unlike any other of the Lolcats, alone makes him one of the best Lol units in the game. Lol Eraser, like the other 2 erasers, is the best Lolcat because Lol Eraser shares many traits of the other erasers, mainly having higher health than the usual meat shield. However, since it doesn't share as high of an HP stat, it has a smaller role than the other 2 erasers. However, it has a rather strange but very useful ability, being immune to freeze. This allows Lol Eraser to be very useful against some enemies like Henry, since Henry has a habit of clogging the cat limit thanks to his low damage, so having a meat shield that won't clog your cat limit is valuable. If you have plenty of freeze immune units, Lol Eraser could also work as a meat shield against Baku, but it should only be used as such in this scenario. Lol Eraser is invaluable in 4-star stages because it still has the highest health out of any typical special and rare meat shield. Lol Eraser has 3 combos. Their medium speed increase isn't all that good, and their accounting power up is fine, but their defense combo with Cameraman is probably one of the most efficient combos in the game because both Lol Eraser and Cameraman are really good units, and being able to get what could be summed up as a free cat combo is very, very good, especially in 4-star stages. Granted, for Lil Eraser, it only adds 2000 health, but it gives so many other units free health, and that is very invaluable in most situations, especially in 4-star stages, where there might be a lack of possible defensive tanker options. Lil Eraser being just as valuable as the other 2 Erasers in 4-star stages, and even outside of that, makes Lil Eraser the best Lilcat in the game, at least in my opinion. So that was my ranking of all of the Lilcats in the game. Do you agree or disagree with this ranking? Let me know in the comments down below, and while you're at it, why not leave a like on this video, and if you enjoy my content and aren't subscribed yet, why not hit that button to join this amazing community. I also want to say thank you for helping me reach 7.5 thousand subscribers, as I would have not been able to make it here without you guys. Anyways, have a wonderful day everyone.